And we're back with our next guest. I'm super excited to see you on the decks, by the way.
Yeah, spinning up.
Yeah, I can't wait for the remixes of the yodeling. So I want your own vocals in there too.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Did you not hear my impeccable tone and key and pitch?
Yeah. Well, speaking of impeccable, we
Powerful
have
vocalist.
Oh, we have an impeccable guest up next, Peter Jacobsen from Vermont CARES.
Howdy.
Howdy. How are you today?
I'm always pretty good, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Hey.
We're so happy to have you with us. So you have
Exciting news.
Yeah,
Exciting news.
Vermont CARES has tons of exciting news. So I'm the executive director of our state's largest HIV/AIDS organization, and it's my dream job. I'm so lucky to get to do this work. And we have launched recently a campaign to get our state to be the first in the nation with no new HIV infections. We've called it On the Road to Zero, and in a state like ours, this is actually feasible. So we all have friends and loved ones with HIV, and our goal is to make sure that we slow the spread of HIV until we have no new infections.
That's an awesome goal.
It is a wonderful mission.
It's been aspirational and fun and challenging, and I think it's totally doable in this state. So, but I need everybody's help to do it. So.
Yeah, how close are we? I'm curious. Do we have numbers? Like
we do, yeah. In Vermont, we're looking at maybe 15 to 20 new cases of HIV each year. There are fewer than 700 people with HIV in the state overall. So, you know, we're already starting with a very healthy group of Vermonters with HIV. And when people are on their HIV meds and are healthy, they're less likely to transmit HIV to others. So Vermont is in this really beautiful place of being able to even consider this as a goal. We also have a strong network of prevention. So I think we're going to be able to do this.
Heck yeah, Vermont.
Yeah, gosh darn it.
So you said we need everyone's help. How can we help in this mission?
Thank you. I need help because we don't talk about HIV that much. Right. It used to be in the 80s and 90s the #1 thing that we talked about as a community. I was raised as a little gay boy in a rural town, and the education that I got about HIV was that it was inevitable and terrifying and led to death. I frankly assumed that I would be dead by the time I was 30. And that's not the case. People with HIV are incredibly healthy these days. I am far older than 30. And
you're alive!
Gosh darn it, yes. Yeah, and you know, we're in this place where we can talk about HIV, what it means, and how to stay protected, and how to stay healthy if you have HIV. And my goal has been to really ensure that young people who are now 16 don't get raised with the same fears that I had when I was that age. So I need help talking about it.
Talking?
So I'll be on your show as many times as you want.
Perfect.
Because there's plenty to talk about. So.
And you have a new means of transportation to spread this message.
We do, yeah. We've called it On the Road to Zero, and now we actually have a mobile testing van all vans are mobile, a mobile testing center to actually be on the road to zero. It's been really exciting. It's as big as a frickin' house, but it's bright red, very, very subtle. When you see this van in town, you will now know that there's an HIV testing center nearby. So we really hope that this helps us spread prevention and keep people even healthier than they are.
Awesome.
It's been really fun. It took us 7 years to pull this together.
Yeah, I was curious how it was made possible.
Oh
and like,
my gosh.
What were some of the big, like I knew you had an event over in Hardwick, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's where we launched.
Did they help you out?
Yeah.
Did
Lamoille Valley Ford was very generous in helping us get this van on the road. It was
nice.
Very fun working with them. Elton John AIDS Foundation paid for most of the van. So we pulled together great allies and resources because we've been doing research for years, knowing that we couldn't do HIV tests out of the back of our cars anymore. It's getting a little crazy. So this is like an actual van with a room with seating and a beautiful table and clear lighting where we can test, hundreds of people a year on the road in little communities that we haven't been able to reach as effectively.
Right.
So it's going to be good.
So when we're talking about HIV testing,
Yeah.
we talked with Glam a little bit about this, and they told us that we could put something in our mouth, or they take a little bit of blood. Is that the same with the testing van?
Absolutely. We use the same testing technology for sure. It's a super rapid test, very easy, and the folks you talk to about your HIV risk, our staff and our volunteers who are testers, they're really non-judgmental, so you can share whatever you're comfortable sharing and just have a conversation about what your actual HIV risks are. I think people come to our office and they think that they have to be on their best behavior and just tell us what they think we want to hear, but we've heard it all. So when people come to us, you really can be frank about what your HIV risks are. We really want you to be healthy, and we want you to have a fun sex life, and we want you to be healthy and out there doing what you want to do, just as long as you know what your risks are and how to keep yourself safe as you want to be.
So I've actually had experience in an HIV testing van. I was down in Philadelphia at the Trans Health Conference.
Yeah.
It was an interesting experience because there were two people that were like, "Do you want to get tested?" And I was like, "Sure." And you're just like walking outside to this van, and I was like, "Where am I going?" But it's so comfy in there, and you have like really intimate conversations, and you just feel so safe. So I'm really happy that this is being brought to Vermont.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that was your experience. That's what we're aiming for. So we will also keep you comfortable and have a good conversation.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we have to, I think, talk about prevention a little bit here.
Please,
because I've heard a lot about PrEP, but what is it?
So,
oh my God, did you bring it with you?
I did.
Oh!
PrEP is a medication that is changing the game for HIV. And that's part of why this goal of 0 new HIV infections is possible. PrEP is basically a pill that people can take once a day, and it stops people from HIV risk. It's not 100% effective, but very close in most studies. And we're thinking of it as another tool in the arsenal to reduce new HIV infections. We've known for a lot of years that not everyone's using condoms, which I did also bring. I would be a terrible HIV director if I did not bring condoms galore. But we've known.
Variety.
I know.
You have a full rainbow in there.
Flavors and textures and all sorts of stuff, whatever floats your boat. So we've known for years that not everybody's using condoms, and we think having this medication available for people who are at really high risk is a great option. It's just super rational, and it's a way to work with, especially with LGBT folks, with sex workers, people who are using injection drugs, all the people that we love and serve in our organization who are at high risk. This is perfect. I'm on PrEP myself. It's not a terrible pill to take. It definitely helps stop new HIV infections.
So it's not like this huge horse pill that I have to try to swallow each morning.
No, it is a totally manageable pill, maybe half an inch. Yep, easy breezy.
I can do it with half an inch.
Yeah.
So where can you get PrEP?
So you should be able to talk to your own doctor about this. Some doctors are still, learning about PrEP and are having a challenging time with that conversation, because talking about sex and drugs is not easy for everybody. But if you are having a hard time talking to your doc about it, come see one of our staff and we can sort of counsel you through what the questions are, how to sort of poke your doctor, get that person in the right direction to prescribe it to you. There are tests that you're going to want to do first to make sure that you are a good candidate for this medication. And once those are done, we recommend that people get tested quarterly for sexually transmitted infections, also get tested for HIV quarterly. But if you need help talking to your doctor, we've had these conversations tons of times, so we can help sort of role model practice, give you a printed list of questions for your doctor. We want it to be a prevention tool that you're comfortable with. If you are nervous about it, you're not going to use it right. So we want you to have PrEP in the way that makes sense for you. There are also specific HIV docs around Vermont who can work with you if your doctor absolutely refuses. If your doctor absolutely refuses to talk to you about HIV, you should
need a new doctor.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the way. Yeah.
do you have a list of like preferred physicians that you can refer people to?
Yeah, we've been building a list of doctors who we know prescribe and who prescribe it effectively and have non-judgmental conversations about HIV. So
Good to have
right
a
people.
list.
It
Good to have an
is.
A-list.
Yeah.
So what happens if you forget to take your PrEP 1 day, 2 days?
A couple days, probably not a deal breaker. I myself would call my doctor if I missed it for more than 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
I just want to talk with a health professional to make sure. But I think missing 1 day is probably not a deal breaker.
Right. Sometimes you can be a little forgetful. It happens.
Totally. Yeah. But it's a great medication, super effective, and that combined with Vermont being really healthy, combined with people using condoms and other barriers, I think by the year 2020 we'll be a much healthier state. So I'm really grateful.
Is that your prediction that we'll be there by 2020?
2020 has been our goal.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we wanna get to 0 by then. So.
Is Vermont the only state that has sort of that like hefty goal that you know of right now?
No. Washington State, New York State are also looking into it. I think Massachusetts is. San Francisco as a city is, which is really cool.
Right.
So we're able to.
We probably have it easier with our population.
We start with a lower number.
Yeah,
so
it's like
it
the
seems
advantage is
less of a
ours.
lift. Yeah.
Perfect.
But I also want all those states
Well,
to
of course.
succeed. So,
Yeah. And Vermont likes to be, the first. We're a little dominant when it comes to our position.
Yeah, we have fun.
Subtribe? It's a Dom.
Yeah, it's a Dom top. Vermont's a Dom top. I'm just saying it, okay? All right.
So Vermont CARES is doing a lot. There's counseling involved, testing, helping with these conversations. For those who don't know, can you give us a little bit more around what Vermont CARES does?
Yeah, Vermont CARES is over 30 years old. We were founded by a group of volunteers who basically were taking 3 or 4 hour shifts at the bedsides of people who were dying of AIDS at that point. In the early days, there wasn't great medication. Healthcare professionals were often afraid to work with people with HIV. And it really was a grassroots organization designed to help loved ones who were dying. After that, it grew into an organization that was better able to work on prevention. We've beefed up our staff. We have offices around the state. And our goal is to obviously slow down and then stop new HIV infections, but also take care of our loved ones who have the virus. I think the grassroots origin of our organization is still really present with us. We're a human-focused organization. We try to be really non-judgmental and let people come to us for what they actually need.
My plant. It's just
It needs a little attention sometimes.
It gotta grow those baby corns.
We also do a range of prevention activities, so education in high schools and correctional facilities, homeless shelters, wherever we can find people who have HIV risk. We will go, we'll talk about it, we'll do HIV testing. Now we can do that in our van as well. We also offer syringe exchange for people who are at risk for blood-to-blood contact of HIV. And that's been really fun and dynamic and expanding around the state as well. So there's a ton of ways that we're able to both work with people with the virus and also stop new HIV infections. And it's really beautiful. What I love about my work is that we get to see totally different groups of people all the time because HIV risk is so diverse. It pulls in obviously the LGBTQ community. It pulls in communities of color. It pulls in people who are using injection drugs. This whole sort of panoply of beautiful people who all come to Vermont CARES because they know that what drives HIV are the sort of social drivers around poverty, around illness. And Vermont CARES gets to work on all those issues at the same time. So every day is new, every day is sometimes challenging, sometimes really beautiful, sometimes heartbreaking. But the work is incredible. So if you or people watching want to volunteer, we're always looking for new people. And I have not been reluctant or reticent about one day in the 14 years that I've been with CARES. It's a really good organization.
So if volunteers were interested in getting involved,
Yeah.
how can they do that?
I would say check out our website, which is just vtcares.org. And there's a link to sign up to be a volunteer. You can also walk into one of our 4 offices. We have offices in Rutland, Montpelier, Burlington, and St. Johnsbury. And if you see our honkin' huge red van, just flag us down and volunteer with us that way. There's going to be staff and volunteers in that van all the time, and we can hook you up that way too.
Well, I'm really excited to see this van because I hear that it's coming to the next SAS that we were just talking about, the Divas Party.
No way! I'm missing so much.
You are. So we get this van parked right outside, so you can
Yes.
just like, you know, middle of dancing, you want to get your HIV test, like pop on out.
Yeah, perfect. Please do.
Pop on out at the Papa.
New slogan.
Tagline.
Coin that one. We'll do that.
Sold. Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is really
This is-
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we will be more than glad to have you back on a future episode, maybe next
Thank you
season.
very much.
Talk about what's new with your organization.
Great, great.
And
sure
maybe
there's
I'll have
gonna
a
be-
second van by then.
Okay, and I'll try to think of something controversial to talk about too.
We always have a little controversy.
Us?
Wait, what?
No.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
We're
you.
so grateful to
I
have
appreciate
you.
it, for sure.
And all of our guests that were on the show, DJ Rob Douglas, Reggie Condra, like, we lucked out. Such a gay episode. Love the gays.